Before there was Batman, there was Zorro. For those of you who know the lore of Batman, you know the character that inspired Bruce wasn't just a bat, it was Zorro himself. And today, we are breaking down Zorro, Man of the Dead, Issue 1. And like every story of a Dark Avenger, it starts off with death. A father, currently portraying the hero Zorro himself, was having a celebration with the people of his city, La Vega. He was so proficient with the blade and the whip, you would have thought he was Zorro himself. Because honestly, he really was. They loved him. They adored him. The people of La Vega thought of him as their savior. And honestly, he was. Love was unconditional because they knew where he stood. The last Zorro actually originally stood, and nobody loved him more than his children. His son was a full believer, but his daughter didn't think Zorro existed. Everyone else knew better, especially his father. But as usual, darkness was following, and this darkness came in form of the cartel. Now, it was pretty obvious the cartel didn't like Zorro. He was a figure of rebellion. So this celebration was a slap to the face because they owned this town. And when the boss realized that no one stood up to oppose him, he decided to make an example. In front of everybody, he slit Zorro's throat in front of his kids, bro. Everybody dispersed, mostly because they started shooting. This was the day everything changed. This was the day Zorro was born. One of the few people who took this death the hardest was Rosa, and she grew up tough. She grew up struggling, and currently, she's working for the man who killed her father. No one around her understood this choice. Even her girlfriend thought it was ridiculous. But Rosa had to do what she had to do. It was not like she was a warrior or a fighter. She was just a driver, and she liked to drive. Right now, she was heading somewhere, the one place she knew she could find sanctuary in this town that belonged to the cartel. She went to the church. She went to make a confession. It was traumatic returning back to the spot where her father died, but she still needed to do what she had to do. Father, I have sinned. I'm here to confess that I have lied to my roommate about what I do for work. The father was like, bro, why'd you keep doing that? Stop calling her your roommate. We know you guys are dating. Jesus. She wanted to know about her brother. It's been a long time since she saw him. And the father, well, he makes it clear that he hasn't spoken since his father died. He advised her to go see her brother, but she didn't want to. Honestly, she didn't have the strength. She was just happy he wasn't in danger. But she was about to be in danger. A lot of it. As she drove to the compound, her partner was waiting for her. He wanted her to see the boss. The boss had called both of them in. He didn't know why, and she didn't know why either. But as soon as she arrived with disrespect. Wow, you're the driver. You're a female. Don't you think your talents are wasted? She tried not to be offended and just asked, what do you need, boss? And he made it clear, I'm gonna need you to take these guys up the hill to see Alejandro. She was shocked because she didn't want to do it. He asked her why. What's with the look? What's with the silence? She tried to play it cool, but he wasn't asking for her opinion. Take them there, right now. So, she decided to take them. It wasn't her choice. Honestly, if she knew what was about to happen next, she probably wouldn't have taken them. Because at the Castillo, where Alejandro was waiting, that was where her brother was. She wanted him out of danger, but she was bringing danger directly for him. Unknown to her, my boy was lethal. He was training all this time, and he was proficient in blade work and whip work. He was deadly. He was Zorro. The only problem was he didn't know it yet. He was about to, because at that moment his sister pulled up. They were here to discuss business with Alejandro. So he said, alright, let's go inside and talk, leaving him outside with his sister. Now his sister hasn't seen him in ages, but with one look she knew, that's my brother. He could clearly talk. He was good. Why was she led to believe he wasn't? But more on that later. Right now, business talks were going on. The government had apparently found the tunnels they used to transport their drugs. They needed to dig some new ones, and the site they chose was here and the church. Now Alejandro did not like this idea. This was ridiculous. But that's the thing about cartels. They do not need your permission. He pulled out his blade, and instantly, he was dropped. They heard the blams from outside, bullets being shot. Diego rushed in. He tried to help his mentor, but his sister pinned him to the ground. There's nothing you can do. If you go in there, you die. She was right, of course. The cartel doesn't play. Even when they were done, she just told her, get in the car. We will talk later. She tried to ask again, but they didn't want to talk. Diego, on the other hand, saw what happened. He saw the remains, his mentor on the floor, bleeding out. And at this moment, a choice was made. His mentor gifted him a blade and told him straight up, you're Zorro now. You know what to do. Diego, at that moment, was no longer Diego. It was like he was possessed by a spirit of vengeance. Zorro was born. Not a second to waste, he got his gloves and took the scarf from his mentor's neck as a tribute to him. He was owed blood, and he planned to take it right here, right now. Nobody was allowed to escape. He locked all the gates, and they saw it. They were wondering what's happening. Unknown to them, someone was coming, and he was coming in full force. Now, most of them already knew about Alejandro's son, but they clearly didn't think he would be this bold. Well, he was. Rosa tried to beg them, leave Diego alone. He knows nothing. He saw nothing. But there was no point. Diego was here, and he wasn't here to talk. Riding on the back of a horse was easy. Dismounting and proceeding to butcher everyone in his path was hard. He was moving like a ninja. Everyone he saw got stabbed in the head. The ones who didn't get stabbed in the head got stabbed in the arm. He knew his target. You owe me blood. He made sure to cripple the fat man and knock out his protection. His sister was frozen in the spot watching all this play out. And when she realized Diego is absolutely insane, he stabbed the fat man and tossed him off the cliff like, bruh, you die today. He was good, but he wasn't watching his own back. She had to intervene or her brother was going to die. With a big bang, she shoots her own partner in the back. Diego, you absolute demon, what is wrong with you? Diego did not respond. Do not call me that. My name is not Diego. I am Zorro. She was confused. What do you mean? You know what? Never mind. Hop in the car. We need to leave. The cartel will come. He was confused. I'm not getting into that thing. I have my trusted horse. But first, I have a message I need to leave. And he did, not caring who saw. Later that morning, the boss pulled up himself looking for his men, but he met no one alive. All he met was blood. His most trusted guy, Trejo, showed his face, and on his chest, the letter Z carved in blood. They knew who this was, but most of all, he was curious. Where is your driver?